Alright, what's up, guys? So, today I want to talk to you about the Rocky films. The Rocky films are iconic. Sylvester Stallone gives a great performance as Rocky, and I feel like the Rocky films will stand the test of time. The first Rocky film is about Rocky Balboa, who is struggling financially. He's kind of doing a little side jobs, and he gets a shot at the title. Now, keep in mind, Rocky Balboa is being played by Sylvester Stallone, who at the time, nobody knew who he was, but his voice was very unique. You know, Sylvester Stallone was a tall, broad-shouldered, muscular guy who is going to play Rocky. And when the film came out, people loved it. He became a star overnight, and that would lead to Rocky 2, Rocky 3, Rocky 4, Rocky 5, and then there would be a big break until Rocky 6. The way I look at the first Rocky, it's not just an action film. It's also a romance film. We see Adrian, who's played by the beautiful Talia Shire. She's playing a cashier at a pet store who's kind of nerdy with her glasses and hat, but Rocky falls for her. I love the date they go on where they're at the ice rink and he tells her why they call him a southpaw. You know, his fist was facing right, so they call him southpaw. Rocky tells Adrian that I ain't got much of a brain, so I use my body, I fight to make money. And Adrian tells Rocky, that's the opposite of what my mother told me. And Rocky's like, what did your mother tell you? And Adrian says, my mother told me I haven't got much of a body, so I might as well use my brains. So I think that Rocky and Adrian have a cute love story. I feel like Sylvester Stallone and Talia Shire have great chemistry on screen, and they look really good together. They're both two good-looking Italians, so I thought they made a great couple. Carl Weathers, who plays Apollo, is very charismatic. Even though he plays the bad guy, he's very likable. And has he done a lot of films? Not really, but I think he was a good villain for Rocky. Rocky Balboa and Apollo Creed are both tall, athletic guys. So when they clash now, it made for a pretty good fight. Now, Rocky 1 introduces us to the character and ends on a cliffhanger. So I like where Rocky 2 picks up, where, Rocky's in the hospital after the fight. I love the way he proposes to Adrian, where they're walking home and he's like, hey, yo, Adrian, what do you think you're doing for the next 40 or 50 years? And Adrian's like, I don't know, Rocky, why? And Rocky's like, well, I was wondering if you wouldn't mind marrying me. And I thought that was so cute. I think that Rocky and Adrian have such a beautiful love story in the Rocky saga. And in this film, we meet the baby too. They have a baby later on. And, Rocky goes to fight to make money. Rocky in this film, there's a hilarious scene where he goes for a job interview. And he asks the interviewer, can I have a sitting down job like you? And the interviewer tells him, oh, maybe we should get you a labor job. So Rocky starts working labor in a meat factory. It's not making good money. He's got a house now. Him and Adrian buy a house in this film. They buy a car. They need money to sustain all these things. So Rocky figures, Apollo wants his rematch. Let's do it. Let's have this fight. And Rocky beats Apollo. And then that leads into the third Rocky film now, where Rocky 3 really upped the scale of the film now. We had this fight with Hulk Hogan, which was pretty cool. I kind of like the way they're like, oh, Hulk Hogan's, what do they call him? Thunderlips. He's like 7 foot tall and weighs 390 pounds. I don't know if Hulk Hogan's really 7 foot tall in real life, but it was pretty cool to see Sylvester Stallone and Hulk Hogan on screen together and fight. And, Mr. T was pretty cool in this film. He's very hilarious. So I thought that, Rocky and Mr. T going at each other, and Rocky kind of losing the fight because he was sad about the death of Mickey and he's got to get back in the game. But who's going to train him? Apollo comes back now. The guy he fought in Rocky 1 and 2 is now going to train him. They're becoming friends. I really like that. I feel like Rocky 3 went and expanded on everything. And, he beats Mr. T in the end. And then we get Rocky 4 now, which is like one of the most popular Rocky films. Rocky fighting the Russian guy, this Russian guy who takes steroids. He's this, like a super soldier, whatever you want to call him. Dolph Lundgren did a great job playing Drago. Dolph Lundgren plays this macho Russian boxer who doesn't talk a lot, but he does steal every scene he's in, and he's very iconic. Ivan Drago and Apollo fight, and Apollo tells Rocky, no matter what, don't throw in the towel. So Rocky doesn't. He hesitates before, but Apollo dies in the ring. So then Rocky decides, I'm going to fight this Russian guy on Christmas Day as an exhibition fight. So Rocky and Dolph Lundgren fight at the end. It's pretty epic. And at the end, Rocky gives this beautiful speech about, if I can change, you can change. So I really like the final showdown with Rocky and Drago was epic, and I love his little speech at the end. I love the workout scene with Sylvester Stallone in Rocky 4 where he's climbing the mountain, he's doing pull-ups in the barn, he's pulling Polly on a sleigh. I think Rocky 4's workout scene in the Russian snow was pretty well done, and it's very iconic. A lot of people love that scene. Rocky 5 now introduces us to Sylvester Stallone's real-life son, Sage Stallone. And I feel like Sage Stallone gave an incredible performance in this film. I know he hasn't done a lot of films, but I will say, he gave a good performance. You cannot say that just because he's the son of Sylvester Stallone, people like him. He gave a good performance. Sage Stallone gave a great performance, and I liked him in Rocky 5. Rocky 5, the pacing kind of slows down a bit. Rocky kind of loses his house and everything. He's back to where he started. He's training Tommy. They fight at the end. Rocky 5 might have been the weakest film, but I feel like there are certain things to like, and it plays home to all the Rocky films. Rocky 6 now picks up about 15, 20 years later. We see an older, more worn out Rocky Balboa. Sylvester Stallone is working at a restaurant. Rocky Balboa is working at a restaurant in this film. Stallone is a little older, but he's still charismatic in the role and very likable. Rocky 6, in my opinion, I liked it, but I didn't like the way that they decided to kill off Adrian, and I feel like the villain of Rocky 6, I don't even remember that guy's name, but I feel like the final fight with Rocky and that guy, in my opinion, I feel like he didn't have as much charisma as Apollo Creed or Ivan Drago or Mr. T. I feel like Rocky 6 it might be my least favorite one. I like the speech Rocky gives where he's like, it ain't about how hard you hit, it's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. He's trying to tell us that in life, the world isn't all sunshine and rainbows. Things happen. You're not always going to win. But that doesn't mean you stay on the ground. You get up and you try again. You keep pushing forward. So I found Rocky 6 very inspiring. And I love all 6 Rocky films. Especially like Rocky 1 and 2 and the 4th Rocky. I'd say my top 3 Rocky films are top 4, top 5, I don't know. But I really like Rocky 1, 2, and 4. I've seen them so many times, especially the 4th Rocky. I've seen it so many times. I love watching, Stallone fight Dolph Lundgren. I like the romance in Rocky 1 and 2, so I feel like the Rocky saga is an amazing series, and Sylvester Stallone did a great job. He wrote all 6 films. He wrote the screenplay for Rocky 1 and then directed the other 5. So Sylvester Stallone is a great director and writer. He gave a fantastic performance as Rocky, and Sylvester Stallone's performance as Rocky Balboa is iconic and will stand the test of time. So I really like the Rocky films. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section down below. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.